I would have said, Deputy Superintendent of Police now, because that's where it ends, because it's something that's completely new to someone like me, despite the fact that I've been in this, the media agency side of the business for quite some time. But quickly to capture what a DSP is, to explain to a layman, it's basically bringing together data, technology, and improving the value and performance of inventory, which is raw inventory, on the digital space, so that advertisers and marketers are able to make more sense out of it, more targeting, more relevant audiences, using data that's collected either from third-party sources or from ad servers on their own campaigns. So simply put, it's a cycle where data gets collected over campaigns that happen, by which they profile various users and ads are delivered accordingly. And then the same data gets enriched with more and more campaigns, and the pool becomes that much more richer. To give a perspective and a potential of where this can reach is bought for purely performance. Include search, which is also performance, and as much as 80% of all advertising which goes into this digital medium is buying performance. So just about 20% is what you spend to build brands. Now that's a different topic, not probably the right context where I need to discuss whether that's right or wrong. But that is definitely where the potential of this business is. And what do marketers want? Better targeting, better performance. And it's not something that they've not been doing, that they're not aware of. It's been happening for ages from the time advertising or marketing has been happening. So this is traditional media. So if you want a larger audiences, you probably end up taking spots, or you place your commercials on a Balika Vadhu or a larger frame of channels which reach out to a larger audiences. But when you want to filter down these audiences to certain niche audiences, then you end up buying something that is finer targeted. On absolute investments, probably that is larger. But if you look at something called CPRP, which is to measure the efficiency, this desperate housewives would be at least 4 to 5 times more expensive than buying a Balika Vadhu. It's the same thing on print as well. You want to buy a larger audiences, mass audiences, you probably end up taking larger circulated newspapers. But if you want finer audiences, niche targeting, then you end up doing this. But yes, digital medium is complex. Now, if you ask me to name, take you guys through this, I probably can count about 5 to 10 that I can explain. It's really complex. For someone like me, probably Mukul is probably a better place to take you through something like this. But it is complex, and the reason it's complex is not because somebody wanted it to be complex, but there is more data in it, there is more technology in it, which currently is probably not there on the traditional side of the business. If it was there, then probably people would have started using it even there. But today there are companies like, for example, there's a company called Amagi, which is able to target television ads to certain geographic locations, as in probably people staying in and around Brigade Gateway in Bangalore. They're probably able to target that. So that kind of technology is coming on this on traditional media as well, because that's what marketers and advertisers want. They want finer targeting, they want precision targeting, and that's what we are all striving to achieve. And this is a medium which enables us to do that, because it breaks down audiences, breaks down inventory, and with whatever technology is there, which I am probably not the right author to speak on, there is a lot of targeting, smarter targeting, because of which you are able to reach in a much more smarter way your audiences, making your audiences relevant, richer, and more effective. So today, if the model of advertising today on display advertising on the digital space is placing an ad, a 300 by 250 banner on, say, on a website, it reaches to any form of audience. You are probably able to break it down to certain demographics if you have some bit of user data, user login data. But audience is beyond demographics. Audience is beyond demographics in the sense, they have various habits, they have various behavior. So the same 15 to 24 youth, as we call them, is different in different cities, in different habits, in the way they buy stuff, the way they behave on the medium, the way they interact with brands. What this DSP as a technology enables you to do is identify that audience and give relevant communication, relevant message of probably the same brand to those section of audiences. So on the same website or the same portal, you will probably be able to serve ads based on interest levels, based on habits, based on behavior that has been tracked over a period of time using data. And therefore, how does it benefit marketers? Better ROI because there's lesser wastage. You are not putting your money to target everyone out there. When you define your audience, you're not saying, I want to reach 15 to 24. You're probably saying, I want to reach 15 to 24 who's interested in music, and he also goes into a certain type of website. So you are able to map that habit and serve ads accordingly. So there's lesser wastage and therefore higher ROI. Better utilization and leverage of data assets because you can customize various things according to data that you have collected of that audience. And like Mukul said, there's real-time bidding, real-time budget allocation that happens. There's more control, there's more transparency in the system. Marketers or advertisers, you're able to see what exactly you're buying, what price you're buying, what is the kind of audience you're buying. You know exactly what you're not placing trust on someone else to do the whole thing for you. You can see what's happening right there. So what's required is a mind shift from what it has been, how the planning has been in the past, to what it will be. So if whole world was about placing your ads on a website based on, you want a 300 by 250, you want the top banner, you want the horizontal view. If that was what your earlier planning was, today it is about audience-centric. You're trying to reach where the audience is. It's not about placing your ad where it wants. So it's about media planning shifting to audience planning. I think Mukul touched upon that. Yes, this again, I said this. So earlier, if you had standardized messages for any kind of audiences, today for the same brand, same communication, you can probably customize it to various segments of audience. So if you're talking about, say, a premium car to a higher-end audience, within that higher-end audience, you can probably customize it to the guy who travels more often, to the guy who probably is running a business, based on the data that you've collected. And yes, if earlier it was labor-intensive, where you had to physically do a lot of stuff. This one, because it's on a platform, it enables you to interact and immediately do this, and it's more technology-driven. Yesterday I met Satish, who runs the Comly Atom DSP business. So he gave me a very good analogy into whether the old world, which is the typical ad networks or the portal business, the publisher business, will it survive in the presence of DSP? Yes, he said it would, and he gave us this analogy of this. This travel segment. Today we are so used to booking our tickets on Clear Trip, Make My Trip, etc. But the other guys still survive because when you want certain specific customization to your packages, you probably end up having to go there. Another analogy on the media side of the business is probably if you want to buy an ad on Times of India, you have to look at the rate card and look at what are the possible options. But probably Times of India will not list out talking ad innovation on the rate card. That's something you need to talk to them. So probably at Times of India rate card is probably what you can call as a DSP because you can customize depending on your requirement. But old world will survive. There is a requirement for it because we want certain customization. We probably don't want everything out of DSP. The limitations of DSP is there are certain things which are available, and you can just pick and choose what's available. Yes, more and more things are getting created. But even if you want an innovation, the innovations that are available on the platform is all that you can pick and choose. You probably can't create something on your own. Last piece in terms of advice from somebody who just about getting to know what a DSP is. This is a technology which requires more investment, more data. Because only if you keep investing on this, data gets enriched. You see that graph, the more number of clicks you're able to generate, the more data you collect, and your targeting or whatever communication you want to do becomes that much more precise, because you are able to build that pool to a section where you can get more out of the data, because it's like having a sample size of 100 for a population of 1 billion versus a sample size of 1 million for a population of 1 billion. You have a larger pool based on which you are able to collect more data, which will help you target better. So don't be impatient when you start off this business. Your first campaign probably might not be the most effective on DSP. As you progress with more and more campaigns, be patient, and with more data, your data becomes enriched, your campaigns become more effective. The second bit is do not chase reach. See, marketers like us typically have a fascination for reach. We want more reach. So, even, one of the challenges for the digital medium itself is, marketers typically say, television reaches 600 million audiences in this country, whereas digital is still talking of 80 to 100 million audiences. The GroupM CEO, Vikram Sakuja, he tells marketers and even educates us internally, saying, for a brand which tries to reach about 1 million audience, say, you don't need that 600 million. You probably need only that 100 million audience, out of which you need to convert that 1 million. It's the same thing. So, this is a finite audience. It's a smaller audience. But what it helps is you are able to break that audience into sections, segments, and target them more precisely. So probably your effectiveness builds up much more. So it's not about the reach, it's about what every individual can add to it. That's about it.